Hi, my name is Daudi Mugavi and this is Business Mike episode 21. My guest today is David Gonahasa. He's the co-founder and managing director of Roundbob, a Ugandan travel and destination marketing company. In this episode, David shares his experience of building and sustaining a startup company. All this and more next on Business Mike. Thank you for joining us today. Could you briefly tell us who you are and what you do?
My name is David Gonahasa. I am the founder of Roundbob.com. Roundbob is an African tech startup that's trying to change how we perceive or how we appreciate and travel in Africa. So what we do is look at how can we solve the key limitations, which are cost and information. So we help intending customers, of course, find a lot more content that is developed for the African market. So you realize that as much as you have access to so much leisure content and things like that, you might realize that maybe it's not very demanded. Maybe we demand business content a lot more. Maybe we demand sports content or something like that. So we create relevant content. We provide flight and hotel booking on our platform, and then we do travel cost management. So you're able to book a package, for example, and pay for it in up to 12 months installments. Or we do what we call a travel wallet. So you put some money aside regularly, every month, every day, every week, depending on what your incomes are like. And depending on thresholds you reach, you can then purchase any one of the options we have on our platform.
Right. So basically the way it works, it's like a way for me to store money specifically for traveling.
Yes, I'll give you a scenario. I mean, it's funny, we have about 1.5 million people in Uganda alone and 120 million people in Africa who are considered as upper middle class, okay? And all these people want to travel. But then the actual traveling numbers are less than 30%, which clearly shows a huge disconnect, because if you have a hugely desired product and yet there's not that much access to it, there's a problem. So we try to solve that problem. So if you put your money aside for travel, which is beneficial, which is in so many ways a value add to you as an individual, then you can be able to do it.
And is this something whereby before you start saving, you pick a particular destination, or you can save a particular amount and depending on what you have on the account, you can use that to travel to a place where that money can actually...
So there's two options. Like I said, there's two options. Option one is you can decide to say, I have a honeymoon in December. I want to go to Cape Town. I'm sure about it. I want to book that particular package. Or you request a custom deal, we price it, and then you say, fine, it's going to cost $1 million shillings or $1,000 or whatever it is. You start to pay for it gradually. You've locked it in and that's it. The second option is you want to travel. So maybe you're going to see your sister in the States or whatever it is. And you just start to put some money aside. So 10,000, 100, 200, whatever it is. Okay. And as your thresholds begin to grow, then you can afford content or destinations within the thresholds you've saved. So it's a mix of the two. And you can also just walk in and pay cash. So we're not limiting whether you want to lock in something, because some of these destinations are very highly valued. Okay. For example, you'll find that some of, let's say, Zanzibar destinations are going to be completely out during August and July. If you want to go during that period, then you put money down and start to pay for it gradually. Okay, so yes, both options are available.
How does someone come up with an idea like this? You mentioned the numbers of the middle class and the percentage that travel. What is it that piqued your brain that made you think, you know what, there's a market here. I believe this is something that might work.
It's very interesting. When I left my job, I just left my job. I never had an idea what I was going to do or decision why I was leaving my job. I was just tired. And I decided to walk out and say, can I try something new? And when I left my job, I went and paid rent for a space. I paid for 3 months and said, after these 3 months, I'll have figured out what to do. My initial plan was to start an incubator because I've always had a passion for startups. What I realized was that I didn't have enough runway to make it work. Okay, so as such, I began to think about an option. And Roundbob really was something I wanted to do for myself. That's the funny thing about it, because I always wanted to travel. I had jobs that paid me well at different points of my life. And I realized I was never able to access travel. You see, I keep saying travel is like, some contraband product in Africa. It is accessible, but not available. You can't really get to it. So when I did this, the idea was, can I create a product that's going to give me content, an option to travel? And then the whole cost management thing came off a chat I was having with a friend of mine someplace, and he said that all he said was that my bank gives me a way to save for travel, or my bank in the UK gave me a way to save for travel. And I think that was the binding factor. It just validated the entire idea of if you create content and you create a cost management system, it should work. But also, I think a lot of it comes down to, I don't say critical thinking, because mine was it was random. I will never say that I sat down and did all the numbers and paperwork and things like that. That came later. The truth was that I looked at it as, if you look at industries like real estate or the automotive industries, the time these industries began to really blossom was when financial institutions or banks got involved. Okay, and the same for travel, the same for any industry. And I did some work with a bank during my past. I used to do mobile payment systems. What I realized was, as long as you can create a product that taps into a saving culture or into the financial system in a country, and you do it well, and it's a desired product, you should really see success. And I think that was it, really. I can't say I thought it through and I slept on it and I wrote so many things. No, I had an idea, a desire, and a passion. It's called stupid sometimes, but people have said you should think critically and plan and do all these things. I think to each his own. What worked for me was really, I have an idea and a passion, and I followed my passion, and it began to blossom into something amazing.
What does it take from a business point of view? You have your idea, you're starting to build it. I noticed in your office, you're now quite a big team. What does it take to get people on board to buy your idea?
Yeah, it's fine. Money helps a lot. But the truth is that when you're selling an idea, a startup idea to a bunch of people, you're selling them what could be. Okay, you're telling them, you're basically trying to get them to buy into your passion and your vision and what you've been able to see. Okay, in many cases, we think that the key driver for people to work or join a team is money, and I say to an extent, yes, it is. But I've realized from my team, and the more we work on this product, that it's not money. It's the what could be. Okay, the success you could create. And the team has been with us or with me from the start. I have part of the team has share options, part of the tech team especially, because I knew what were the most important, building blocks of this platform. The tech was important, the ops were important, and content. Okay, so what could I do? What did somebody bring onto the table? And it was a share option for part of the team. And then, of course, began to raise money and be able to support some of the team. It's been extremely tough. We've gone months without pay. We've gone months with our office locked. But the team somehow, and it surprises me as well, to be honest, the guys, the team is just there. The people stay on, and they've stayed on from the start. So that's amazing.
Well, your company is called Roundbob. If you had given me that name and asked me to tell you what that company does, I would never have guessed what you do. How did you come up with that name?
It's funny, everybody says that, travel companies should have something called travel in it, because then people can associate what you're doing to your business much faster. And it's very interesting, because I come from an advertising background, and I understand brands, okay? And I believe in brands. I believe in the strength of brands. As long as you can create a good brand, people will start, and you can create affinity, people start to relate to it and know exactly what it stands for, and you're giving them reason to create a connection to it. We could have called it e-travel, whatever it is, and maybe it could have worked, maybe not. I would like to tell you a funny story I'd like to tell you a story about how, Roundbob is this guy who's, had theatrical character, who's coming from wherever it is, and came into Africa and is trying to change travel. The truth is, I was sitting in that space I rented for 3 months, and I'm looking for a name for this travel product I have. I think the world is round. I'm thinking round, round, round. And then I look out the window and I see a tree. So I say round tree. So I check online, and round tree was taken. Roundtree.com wasn't available. So I try for another name, and I think, what name can I use? I'm like, Roundbob, and Bob comes to my head. So I type roundbob.com and it's available, and I say perfect name. But what really made it, what really brought it to life was, I think, one of the most creative people I know is called Jonah Kajimba. And I meet him this evening. That same evening, I said, I need to meet you because I had something burning. And I said, listen, this is an idea I'd like to create. I'd like to create a logo of a guy who has, this is where the story came up, think of a character, because you learn so much about personification in brand development. And from the second I came up with the idea, I was able to personify the brand. So I said, this guy has been all over the world. He's created so many things, been all over the place. He's come back to Africa. He's a bit arrogant. He seems, he knows what he's talking about. He's very, very confident, and he wants to show you the world. He's a bit chubby and fat. and let's play with him. Let's make him seem like a fun character. And in one day after that, he gave me a logo and it was perfect. And Rounbob was created.
Is this a service that you offer to only Ugandans, or are other people outside Uganda using it as well?
We have big dreams. We have very big dreams. We began this business 2 years ago. We've gone through basically the runs as a startup, was a normal startup would be. I mean, we've struggled to get to where we are today. We are entering Kenya now, and we're entering Zambia. The thing about our business is it is very scalable. The problem or inaccessibility of travel is the same in Uganda, and it's the same across all of Africa. There's a few opportunities in South Africa, and I think in Nigeria, South Africa, and Kenya are a bit developed, but still, from North Africa across the whole thing, it's empty. And these problems are the same in almost any third world country in the world. Okay, and what that means for us is that we can get Roundbob into any market. Okay, we've and then this is funny how experiences make you better. So we have a joint venture model, which we use to scale into new markets. We find a local partner, we bring the platform and the content and everything else, because we have some very big content partnerships. And we walk into a country and say, we bring this, you bring X amount of money to commercialize. We find a bank, find a telecom partner, find a mobile payment system, and we launch. So we've closed Kenya, that's already done. We've closed Zambia, and we intend to be in about 10 markets by the end of next year. We want to be a continental platform. We want to be a global platform because what we're doing is actually quite valuable. And the more exciting for us really is the fact that we can be global with a whole number of tweaks and changes to our platform. Somebody may argue and say, but there's so many travel platforms all over the world. The truth is that our business model is actually quite unique. You won't find people doing it in most of the world. And yes, somebody asks, is it patented? Can it be? How do you protect it? I can answer those questions at some point, but the fact is that we believe we have a good product and we want to take it all over the world. And we shall take it all over the world.
What part of being a business owner, once you started Roundbob, took you by surprise? Because here you are, you had your idea, you started building a team bit by bit. What part of being in charge of a business took you off guard?
I think the thing that really shocked me was the things you never think about. Okay? Well, that's what shocks you anyway, isn't it? Yeah. When I began this business, because I'd done a stint in corporate companies, fairly big corporate companies, and I learned how to, do my numbers right and, put everything right and, how to walk into an investor pitch and sell them. And, you're sort of sure about everything, So it's a bit of overconfidence in the fact that you think that, man, I can walk into this thing and I'm not going to be worried about any possible obstacle. And, it was a flow. It was actually quite smooth. It was, from day one, start, raise debt of $20,000, close $100,000 in an investment. What I didn't realize is that there can be a risk that you never ever foresee. Like I never foresaw the possibility of my investors having trouble disbursing the funds that we expected. So we start out, the team is in, we have the computers, everything is all set up very properly. The next thing you know is you have no money. You really have no money, and the investor is saying you have to wait. Now you have a contract, you're thinking, should I find somebody else? And you basically go about 6 months of your life and you really have no money for the business. And it's just the fact that, you should always have a room for risk and room for just be cautious. And not be cautious in terms of don't make dumb decisions or stupid decisions, because I think stupid decisions are what move you, they propel you because you make a mistake and you learn from it. But be cautious, in how you engage with the stakeholders and partners and investors and things. And as much as you have the big idea and you think it's you and it's you creating it and growing it, you need to think critically about who you bring into the business, how it works, and how you grow it. But eventually we go through all those things. So, yeah, I think that's one. Two is the anticipated response from the market. Many times you walk into a business and because for you it makes sense, you assume that it makes sense to me, the market should buy my business, but the market doesn't care about you at all. And I learned that, I learned that at the point for all my life is the market and society and the people you think care about you, majority of them don't care about you at all. As such, you need to build your business, not expecting them to act a specific way. You get from the way they react, then you start to create, a trend and start to create a workflow on how you're going to work better to appeal to your market. So yeah, it's unforeseen risk really. I never ever had I thought I'd covered all my bases, and the funniest curveball will hit you when you won't expect it. I mean, we went almost a year with just struggling, you know. Yeah, and also rookie mistakes, I think. I think that's also something I didn't expect. Because, for example, the first week we launched, we had about $16,000 in sales, the very first week. And that's, you know, beginning of, I've just been doing this for about 4 months. I'm excited. I was shocked to realize that you're losing $16,000. You're losing, what happened was this. Deals was $16,000, yeah? You get money from a loan shark because you have an LPO. And then you confirm the payments and everything else. The client pays you late, okay, which means you have to book late, which means all the prices go up. Then you've already lost money at that point. Then you go to the next step, which is now you're going to pay for, you have to pay the loan shark back in 30 days, and the LPO says 30 days, and somebody verbally said, I'll pay in 15 days. But then they don't pay 15 days, and now your LPO is, no, your loan shark is saying, I want 10% more because, I mean, it's a new month, right? And then there was a Museveni anti-gay bill that was passed, and the shilling weakened on the dollar. So where you're supposed to make $4,000 in profit, you end up losing $3,000. You know, and it's those things, those lessons. I think though is I see them as school fees as opposed to anything else. And it's just you know, like I said, be ready for the unforeseen. You know, another example is when we started out, we get a group of 62 people and take them to Pakwach for an eclipse, and we thought we had a local partner who was doing tours and things. And it was such a mess because we get to Pakwach, it rains, everything floods, all the buses get stuck, everyone's pissed off. And, you know, you're standing there and wondering, what am I doing when you have no experience, okay? So, of course, the learning from that, the point is, you see all those unforeseen or things that shock you as learning experiences that build you and put you on the right path to be able to make your business succeed.
So basically, you can't get better without those mistakes.
You can't. You know, the thing is, those mistakes can actually break you. That's the problem. If you know, some things have happened to us, which, you know, my team and I get up and we just start to laugh at them because it's such a shocker that you're wondering, you know, why me? You know, why? Really, why? You know, and it just doesn't make any sense, you know, from you know, loan sharks wanting to obey bailiffs or things. And, you know, the thing is, of course, inexperience or limited access to funding means you're going to rely on unconventional funding methods like loan sharks and things, which is not right. I mean, not that it's not right, but it's very risky, yeah. And you're going to get these letters of, you know, we're going to throw you in jail. You're going to get, you know, the landlord telling you to leave my house. You're going to get all these things. And you get to a point and you're wondering, did I make the right decision? Because I could be making my very many millions in a job. In fact, you're being offered jobs as well, but you're saying to these jobs, I'm not interested. You know, I want to do what I'm doing because I believe in it. And I think that's the point, is that you believe in something, you do the work, you have the failures and the mistakes. And if you keep doing it and keep focused at it, it starts to open up. And we've seen that firsthand with Rounbob.
Your business is one of the few that has been nominated for Demo Africa. Actually, you're the only Ugandan that was picked to go there. How does something like that happen? How do you get picked? Do you apply to participate in these things, or how does that happen? As
a startup in Africa, you're always looking for opportunities to raise money or network or build your profile and things. And there's a number of them actually happening online. There's IPA, there's a whole number of them. There's the ones that are very prestigious, which if you're a part of, your networking capability or possibilities are very, very huge. I mean, you talked about the many that there. I mean, you have about the Tony Elumelu thing with 1,000 startups or something like that. Now, over the last 2 years, we continuously applied for this thing. And I say to every startup founder in this market, unless you've raised your money, but even if you've raised your money for networking, for partner possibilities, apply for these things because they're out there to help you. Yeah. So we've applied for very many. We applied for Demo last year as well. We never made it. And this year we did, and we made it. So yeah, we applied online, and I think it's an amazing opportunity for us.
Well, it's coming up this Friday, the September 25th. How do you prepare in terms of your mindset? This is a very big pitch you're going to make. So psychologically, what goes into the preparation?
Simple. I know what I've been doing for 2 years. Just go and tell the story. No, but of course, there's so many things that come up because, for one, you have one of the hardest things about fundraising in Africa is of most African startups is we've not had very many examples of startups that have been fundraising and doing these things. So it's difficult because we really are the trailblazers. We're the ones who are going out and saying, yes, there's a number, I'm not trying to belittle anybody. I'm saying there's a number of successful businesses that are out there, but we know their stories. We've not seen them fundraise at this scale. Either they've been, grown gradually or they've come in with money from wherever it is or whatever. But for Uganda and African startups that have started out and gone and fundraised money, is not that many, and the stories are out there. So it becomes a bit complicated because one question keeps coming up in all fundraising meetings, which is what is your valuation? Okay, and many of us have no idea about valuation because you're going to go meet a shark who's going to tell you, but you're not making any money. I want 80% of your business. Okay, and you'll give it to him because you think it's my only chance, but normally it just kills you. Because you have no motivation to actually run that, because now you work for him, and you're like, what am I doing? I began this thing on my own. So yes, I've spent so much time talking to a number of people and learning, and I can say this, I know a lot about valuation, I know a lot about startups, but I've actually spent so much time talking to people who have more experience than me and learning about how to argue my valuation argument and how to be able to argue my projections and my business cases and things. So yes, I need to get my numbers right. I need to get my pitch right, because what I've realized about investment or investors in many cases, very few investors invest in the money or the numbers. They invest in the person. Yeah, because if I believe what you're telling me, if I believe your passion and your dream and what you talk about, I'm more inclined to give you the money because I can see your commitment. You can give me the best numbers, but without commitment, you probably won't get it to where you want to get it to. So yeah, it's just get my facts right. Get my numbers right. I mean, the rest of it is just passion. It comes out. I mean, you just speak about it like it's it's part of you.
What are some tips regarding to valuation? Because there might be people listening to this that have a business and they think to themselves, oh, what's the value of my business? What are some clues? What sort of things should you look out for to value your business?
Your business as a startup, it says very many arguments, okay? But your business is valued based on the foreseeable future, or foreseeable value, your projections or your numbers. And it's going to be, 5 years, 10 years. Somebody once said, use your 3-year number to give you a valuation based on your projections. Somebody says, use your 7, 8, 10-year number to give you a valuation. So there's very many options. Somebody says, use a comparative, example. So use a company in the same field. For example, if we're in travel, get an Africa-based travel company and say this company made X amount within this period. Our business is different because of ABCDE, and we shall reach more numbers, as such our valuation should be equal or slightly higher than them. There's a number of other financial methods of doing valuation. I like to say I'm not a financial person. I've spent so much time trying to learn these things, but I cannot just say them so simply. I learned something called the EBTID or something like that, which is another model that uses valuation. But yes, I think the best thing is look at comparatives, look at your projections, have a clear business plan with clear numbers of what you expect to get, and be able to justify those numbers. Because if you can't justify those numbers, you really can't verify your projections, and that becomes complicated. Again, also, for example, in our case, because we raised $100,000 for 15% of the business, that gave us about a $770,000 valuation. But this didn't calculate the fact that we were doing all this work and everything else. So, I mean, today I can easily get up and say that today, as of now, we are maybe at about a $1 million valuation because of how much work and how much we've raised. But then in 5 years and 10 years, because of we want to enter, it's only for Uganda, we want to enter 5, 10 markets, what will our valuation be? So if I'm going out to raise money, I'm looking to raise. And what I've realized, the most successful businesses, money is not really an issue. Because if you gave a good entrepreneur funding to do what they want to do, and you tell them, listen, do it, you will be shocked at how much they can change and how much they can do. But for you to get that credibility of a trusted entrepreneur is a bit of of the problem that takes you longer to achieve.
Your business is one that's basically online, and to a certain extent, do you have an app as well?
Yeah, we have.
How are we as Africa developed in terms of using technology that is internet-based? For instance, what sort of client base are we looking at of savvy tech users that can actually consume services like yours and other people that are doing it on?
It's very funny. I have this conversation a lot with so many entrepreneurs, and the fact is that I don't think that purely tech-based businesses are going to work in Africa, at least not now. Okay, tech-based e-commerce or consumer-focused businesses, mobile payment systems will work and things like that, because of tools and stuff, but then a product that's available in the market that you want to go and sell directly to the market, you're going to have problems, okay? Because like you say, we have trust issues. We have reliability issues. If your system won't work on time, and so many things that will sort of break your delivery service. As such, I keep arguing for a hybrid model. And it's what we're doing at Rounbob. We have a hybrid model where we have our tech-based, our online, our web-based content. So we'll have the flights, the hotels, the packages, the wallet, and the CDE. We use mobile for engagement. So our application is more about being able to engage a customer. You can see your wallet, show off, see your meter of how much you've saved up to, see things like recommendations. We can do USSD, SMS-based recommendations and things like that. Make payments, ABCDE. So that's what it does. But more importantly is we realize that if we want to what we want to do, which is reach into the 70% of the non-traveling Ugandans, an online platform would be the one to do it because they won't trust it. We use referral. We use resellers. We use network marketing modules. If you sell, if you convince somebody to buy, you earn something. Our resellers are basically able to create a travel business for 2 million Uganda shillings, which is unprecedented because for you to become a travel agent, you will think about, I need IATA, I need Togata, I need this, and all these funny acronyms they use to make it so complicated. Yeah? I hope no one is listening to this from one of those associations. But yes, they make it so complicated for you to join. But the fact here is that we're giving you a platform where you can go and sell packages, sell hotels, sell flights, get people to open up wallets, get people to save for travel, sell corporate travel management, sell HR loyalty around travel, so many things, our entire product portfolio, because we eventually don't want to be a directly consumer-facing business in terms of retail, in terms of person-to-person engagement. We're consumer-facing online, but we want to give people the opportunity to use our platform to make money through a consumer-facing business that is sort of person-to-person based engagement. Okay, so, and I say to so many people is yes, eventually those resellers and network marketing modules may, and not what I'm using. I'm not saying will. I'm saying may, because it took about 25 years for people in Europe to start to adopt the credit card. Okay? What makes us think that because we're going to spend so much money throwing so many pieces all over Africa, you're going to get people using the computers? I don't think so. So we use the reseller model to help us get conversion, to get entrenchment into the market, to build our brand. Because if we have 100 resellers all over the country, that's 100 visibility points. We don't need to have billboards. We just use those and get them trained right, and get them to do what they're doing, and support them as much as possible, and have the best content online, and it should work. So yeah, hybrids work. The whole notion of I have an app, it's going to work, yeah, that's going to die.
Yeah. What's your happiest moment at Roundbob?
To be honest, the thing about what we're doing is that you have very many highs which are very high and very many lows which are very low. The first day I ever saw the first page, I was very excited. And it was a small restaurant somewhere, and I was so happy about it. Usually you go home and you keep opening it and looking at it. It's like a new baby. Yeah. The day we went live was a very nice one because we're playing music in the office. We bought some champagne and we sat there, and it's so exciting because now what you've done is get this idea and actually make it real, and it's actually going, commercial for the first time. Of course, the days you raise some money are exciting, but those are difficult because you think about, I have someone's money now and I have to pay back. So it's a bit of a bittersweet thing. The day we made our first sale, the day, it's like a typical baby, right? It's like you have very many highs from the day it's born to the small little things that happen. So I can't say that I have one particular, perfect day. I think the day we break even will be a beautiful day for me. We've made a couple of sales. We've made some money, but to be honest, we're not there. We're not even close to there yet. Every day you're learning. Today, just this morning, because we've taken quite a bit of time getting our bank partner on board, so we got Stanbic Bank recently. Just this morning, we were doing the first wallet postings. Okay, it's still a bit money, but we're doing the wallet postings, and I saw the notification by SMS come to my phone, and the change on my wallet on my application. It's all an amazing feeling. Okay, the truth is that even those amazing feelings, you have the lows, so it's just a mix, and I advise no entrepreneur to have their expectations so high because they might be dashed quite a bit. So yeah, manage this.
If you had a time machine and you could basically travel back and meet yourself as an 18-year-old, what book would you give yourself and what app would you recommend?
The book is called Whatever You Think the Opposite. Okay? I have to get the name of the author though, so that will take a bit of a second.
No, I'll look up the author and put them on the show notes page.
Whatever you think the opposite. And I don't read very much, by the way. I don't, and I know this sounds a bit dumb, but I don't read very much. I read things that I think are relevant. I don't go and get a book and I read it. This one day we're driving to Kisoro and there's smoke in this guy's car. And that book taught me the two most profound things in life I've ever had. Because normally you get a book and you start to read and you think, this, I know this, throw it away. This book taught me two things. It said, if you're in business, there's two things you should do. Get in front of find a marching band and get in front of it. And like in baseball, hit them where they're not if you're going to actually, score. What that basically meant was the marching band is related to a trend. Find a trend. What is trending in your market at a particular time? Is it tech? Is it whatever it is? And in the case of Roundbob, we found travel, and I was looking for that. And it was everybody wants to travel. The people who travel are sinners, and then hit them where they're not. Do what the market or do what the competition is not doing. Because sometimes we reach so far to find all this amazing stuff. And amazing stuff changes the world. That's true. And I mean, you can do amazing stuff through innovation or invention. But in many cases, the thing that really changes our lives is right there. It's just right there. So yeah, I think I would give myself that book a lot earlier in life because it would save me so many mistakes and so many attempts at doing what I considered great stuff, which really was inexperienced desire and drive. Applications, I must say I'm not very tech savvy. I don't use very many applications. I know, right? No, I don't use very many applications. I'd give my own self, no, but I mean, yeah.
Okay, let's something else to help you on your business way. Anything else you'd give yourself as an 18-year-old?
To be honest, I can't think of anything. I'd give myself that book, that's for sure, because that book it opens your mind about so many things. But also, I think what I tell my old self is don't think you're the best. Because one thing that very many entrepreneurs don't have, especially in Africa, is humility. We're very stubborn and we think that what we're saying is the best and it's the right way to go. And when somebody older than you or more experienced than you tries to give you counsel because they think they like what you're doing, you rubbish them as what do they know, And it's a sad thing because what I've learned is that there's older people, aside from just their insights and their knowledge, there's a lot that they know about the market, about what's going on, and you just go there, my thing will do A, B, C, D, E and change the world, and this guy is telling you it won't. And listen to why they're telling you this, And in most cases, you may rubbish them off and just go do whatever you're doing. But the fact is, they're making a point. So yeah, as a 19-year, 20-year-old entrepreneur, many people say things to me, and I just ignored them because I thought I have the boast of this. Why you tell me what to tell me this, and that in itself is a whole story of that whole journey. But I think it would be that. Just listen and be humble. And try to do things different.
If the tables were turned today, so basically if this were your podcast and I was your guest, what's the one question you'd ask me?
How do you make money doing this?
At the moment, I'm not making any money. I'm funding it myself, but hopefully I'll get money through sponsorship because of the audience numbers. However, I did not primarily start this to make money in the first place. It was more of promoting entrepreneurship in Africa in general, and also giving small business owners a voice, a platform where they can promote their businesses and encouraging the spirit of creating business and learning from people who are doing it. So yeah, at the moment I'm not making any money from this, but hopefully through some sponsorship I can run the platform and also get something for my troubles.
I think it's a good idea.
Lastly, how can someone or people listening get in touch with you via social media or website?
I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter. I said I did some social media savvy enough, yeah. So my Facebook name, first of all, is Roundbob. Roundbob's Facebook name is Roundbob, just as it is RUNDBOB. Our Twitter handle is @Roundbob1. My Facebook is David Gonahasa, David L. Gonahasa. My Twitter is @Gonahasa. I guess that's the most important stuff.
The website is roundbob.com.
www.roundbob.com.
Well, you're going to Nigeria this Friday, 25th of September. We wish you the very best. And if you do get that money, you have my number.
There's no money. There's no money. We're purely going to, you know what it is we're purely going to go and try to convince people to invest in our business. But yeah, definitely. Let's see. Who knows who will be sponsoring Business Mike next.
Well, thank you so much for your time, David. I really appreciate it.
Cool. Cheers.
Thank you so much for listening to Business Mike today. And if you'd like to listen to more episodes just like this one, simply go to businessmike.com. For all the links and resources mentioned in this particular episode, simply type the name David into the search bar to access his show notes page. Thanks again for listening, and until next Monday, take care.